If you're Chinese and living in a Western democracy, chances are you've heard the term Baizuo. Literally translated for English speakers, it means white left. This term is spread like wildfire in the Chinese community, and if you haven't heard it yet, let me explain to you what it means. According to OpenDemocracy.net, Baizuo refers to those who, quote, only care about topics such as immigration, minorities, LGBT, and the environment, and have no sense of real problems in the real world. They're hypocritical humanitarians who advocate for peace and equality only to, quote, satisfy their own feeling of moral superiority. I heard the term first when I was at a yellow vest protest in Calgary, Alberta. There was a group of these angry SJWs, and they were just yelling at this crowd of yellow vest protesters. As you'd expect, they were calling them xenophobic and hateful and telling them that they should embrace diversity. Of course, these cultural Marxists were all white. They were a little bit camera shy, but they kept shouting at the yellow vesters that they need to put a stop to their racism. I couldn't believe the irony myself when a Chinese Canadian walked up to me, laughing at the Baizuo over there. She asked me if I knew what the term meant, and I didn't at the time, but here was our exchange.
These people behind you, they're talking about diversity and the yellow vest movement being xenophobic. What do you think about them saying that when, first off, they're all white and there's more diversity in the yellow vest movement than over there?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think they are brainwashed by the media, by the education. I think they mostly is a virtual signal. Virtual signal. Yeah, in Chinese, it's zhuanbility. White left. We have a term, it's called white left. If you're interested, Google white left.
Is it Mandarin or Cantonese?
Mandarin, white left. Basically, they are just like a virtual signal showing, oh, how moral high ground I'm on.
She wasn't the only Chinese Canadian that I chatted with that day. This lady was furious. She was yelling at the virtue signaling counter-protesters, saying that they have no idea how great they have it in Canada.
How do you feel about the protesters over there telling you that you're a xenophobe and that you hate diversity? What do you think about that?
They are brainwashed. They are stupid. They don't know. I believe they never experience invasion, never experience genocide, never experience the terrorist attack. I come from China. I know how dictatorship is. I know how socialism is. I know how communism is. I know how Islam is.
She was flustered, angry even, and understandably so. This woman, originally from mainland China, knows how dictatorships work. She knows how communism works, and she thinks that the Islamization of the West is a harbinger of terrible things to come. Listen to this.
We don't want Canada because third world country. No way!
The fact that a Chinese woman thinks this just blows the mind of leftists. Their NPC brains just don't come pre-programmed with speech strings to respond to a non-white conservative. Can you imagine the left being so entrenched in their identity politics narrative that they just knee-jerk react and call these ethnically Chinese ladies white supremacists? Oops, they actually did that. Unironically. Remember when Vice News tweeted this? They said that Chinese people are becoming more and more involved in the white supremacist movement. What is going through the head of the liberal writing this? It's becoming more and more clear that the left is confusing white supremacy with the rejection of socialism, communism, and radical Islam. The left are losing their grip on a minority group that has historically made up a huge block of their voting constituency. You and I both know that when the left is losing, they don't take it well.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States.
I would be scared too if your entire voter base was collapsing right in front of your eyes. Just take a look: California, New York, Hawaii, Washington, Illinois, Massachusetts. If the Democrats lose the Chinese constituency, all of these states are in play, except for maybe California. I think it's just in the early stages right now, this Chinese exodus from socialist left-wing parties. But you can see why. In Canada, Justin Trudeau has all but ignored the 13 Canadians who are incarcerated in China and has not moved a diplomat, let alone heaven and earth, to repatriate a Canadian given the death sentence in a kangaroo court retrial. I can only imagine what Donald Trump would do in his shoes. By doing nothing, Trudeau has said loud and clear that it's okay to kill a Canadian as long as you're the Chinese government, who, let's not forget,
there's a level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them
to what? Kill Canadians? That is what Baizuo is. Justin Trudeau personifies it perfectly. Look, the fact is, Chinese Americans and Chinese Canadians, they are looking at Trudeau's response to a communist dictatorship, the same one that led to their family fleeing to the free world. Then they look at how Donald Trump treats the communist country in contrast. They look at how Trudeau's illegal immigration program is literally killing young women in their communities. They will never forget Marissa Shen, the young girl killed by an illegal Trudeau refugee.
How are you going to take personal responsibility for Marissa's death?
What do we want from our government? We want safety. We want our land to be safe.
Where's Trudeau? 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 Where's Trudeau?
Trudeau and the Baizuo were nowhere to be seen that day. It's only a matter of time before the Chinese community drops left-wing parties in Western democracies entirely. For the Rebel.media, this is Kian Bexte. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you make sure that you're subscribed to The Rebel on YouTube? It really helps us out. We don't get any government funding like the CBC or the rest of the mainstream media. So when you subscribe to us, it helps us keep you up to date with the latest news.